Have you ever heard of a bolster? Are you unsure of how to use a bolster in yoga? David here, Saw Yoga Tips.
Yes.
We're going to talk a bit about bolsters right now so you can have a little bit more understanding. This is to answer a question on when to use bolsters and why you're going to need them in yoga, period. So this is a bolster right here. You can see this is the one that I own. I really like this one. It's a great bolster. It's pretty helpful for all of my needs and what I want to do for yoga. We're going to go ahead and look at some of the imaging, and I'm going to describe why you're going to use a bolster and when so you can have a clear view, understanding of using a bolster. This is kind of what one would look like. This isn't a full one. This is like a mid-sized middle one. It's pretty comfortable. It's got a firm feel, but it can support your whole body. Let's dive a little bit into the imaging. So take a look at the model here. You can see now this is called a half bolster. It's half because the shape is about half the size of a full bolster. She's got it under her knees. What this is going to do is help loosen up her lumbar spine, her low back, help her thoracic spine also start to loosen up as well. This is a popular position for people that might have lower back pain or upper back pain, mid back pain. This is also really good as a way to loosen up the hips safely. This is also a good position to use if you want to do something such as restorative yoga. So naturally, you can loosen up the hips just by opening up the knees outward, medial away from the heart. When you do it that way, lateral away from the heart. When you do it that way, you are then performing a hip opener that's going to loosen up the back. That said, a lot of times it's a lot of strain on the body because your knees are going to flare upward and you're going to have to fight the opposing force of gravity. So the bolster makes it easy for you where you can just kind of go passive into the posture because the bolster is a prop for you. It holds you up. So now she can just rest her legs on the bolster and it's holding her up. That way the model doesn't have to fight gravity with her work there. And that's one way that you can utilize the bolster. Now this is another image, and let's click out of this, Now you can see this model is using the same type of method to kind of loosen up her back. Now what she has is yoga block under the bolster to elevate her. Now her knees are a little bit more straightforward. This is kind of like a caterpillar pose, but she's reclining back, and it's a way to take the force of gravity off her back as she relaxes. Her shoulders are now falling right into the bolster, which is a great way for her to relax. You're going to see this a lot in restorative yoga. So definitely start to get involved with bolsters. One thing I want to recommend is to look at bolsters as a prop, as a tool in your toolbox. Don't think of it as something that is a handicap. A lot of times we don't have the flexibility at the moment, or we don't have the skeleton structure to get into these postures certain ways that others do. We all have pros and cons to this. So the bolsters help even the playing field. They're not giving you an unfair advantage. So don't feel guilty about using a bolster. As a yoga instructor, that's the biggest problem I came across, was people scared to use the bolsters because they felt like they're cheating. If anything, the bolsters are going to help it make it more fair for you. So you can go ahead and compete on a actual realistic scale if you are looking at it as a form of competition with yourself or others. The bolster is going to make it more fair. It's not going to be a handicap and give you an unfair advantage. So take advantage of using the bolsters, and we will be back with more information soon.